Hi, everyone. Happy New Year and welcome back to our e-learning grade 9 business course. Welcome to week 17 and a new year. I hope you all had a great winter break and you are ready to hit the ground running because we are officially starting our final performance task today. And this is worth 15% of your grade. Your performance task is broken into two parts. The first part is due this Friday at 11:59 p.m. and the second part is due next Friday at 11:59 p.m. The week after that, we'll do our final exam. So this instructional video includes all the information you need to be successful on part one of the performance task. So I'm just going to take you through the agenda. I'll explain what you're seeing in front of you, and then I'm going to explain the performance task with you. Okay? As always with our weekly agendas, we still need to complete our weekly attendance activity to be marked as present to the course, so make sure that you complete that. Okay? So, like I said, we're rolling out our final performance task right now. And this final performance task is found in Dropbox. You'll see if you go into Dropbox, I'll actually just pop into our Dropbox now. If you go into our course and you go into Dropbox and you scroll all the way down, you'll see that there are two Dropboxes for the performance task. So the first Dropbox is for part one, and the second is for part two. So week one and week two. Week one is due this Friday, January 12th at 11:59 p.m. This is a hard deadline, and the Dropbox will close after this. This is treated like an exam. It is, like I said, the project is worth 15% of your grade. And the second components for week two are due next Friday, January 19th at 11:59 p.m. So the components are available in Dropbox. They're also available for you here in our weekly agenda. And really all you're working on this week is that. So when you look at the agenda, you'll see that we have performance task work period, and I've suggested what you work on for each day. So task one on Tuesday, task two Wednesday, Thursday, and then task three on Friday, and that you submit everything in Dropbox by then. Okay. So when you go through your performance task, the first thing that you're going to go through is the actual breakdown of the performance task. So this document that I'm opening in your weekly agenda right here. Okay, so this is a culmination of our entire semester. The performance task is worth 30% of your grade, so performance task and examination block. The performance task itself is worth 15, your examination is worth 15, okay? And like I said, you've got 2 weeks to do it. The first week is broken down for you in this instructional video, and the second the second week components will be broken down in next week's instructional video, so stay tuned for that as well, okay? All right. So with the first week of the performance task, you can actually get ahead. Like if you did your performance task and got ahead this week, you could actually jump into week two stuff. But I would recommend you stick just kind of 1 week at a time. Okay. So with that in mind, you've got week one of your performance task linked in here. This is the document. Okay. So you'll click that open. You can otherwise find it also in the weekly agenda in this document right here. Okay. So you are going to become a restaurant owner for this performance task, okay? So now that you know how to run a business and you've worked through all the ways that we can communicate effectively in operating a business in this class, you're going to be putting yourselves in the position as a restaurant owner for this performance task, okay? So you are now a restaurateur. This is a person who opens and runs a restaurant. And you are going to, basically your goal here is as a part of the Halton District School Board's Health and Wellness Multi-Year Plan, you are going to be identifying the lack of healthy and available food options before, during, and after school hours. As a restaurateur, you're going to be independently researching, planning, and designing a new healthy and student-friendly restaurant suitable for your school's population, okay? So the criteria for this, your restaurant will be open a year from now. You are going to choose a location within 5 kilometers of your home school. So wherever you reside, whether you're at Garth Webb or you're at, CKSS or wherever, you want this restaurant to be located within walking distance so high school students can frequent and get healthy, nutritious meals. Okay. You're going to be researching eating trends within and outside your school. And there are some additional resources which I'll refer to in just a second. Also, applying your knowledge will be a huge part of this. Remember that earning a level 4 plus means you're going to be going above and beyond what is asked of you for each of these tasks. Okay. So for the first week, you are going to be completing 3 different tasks. Task 1 is conducting a food preference survey. I recommend that you work on this and complete this Monday, Tuesday of this week. Task 2 is creating a brand and menu design. And that I recommend you work on that Wednesday, Thursday of this week. And task 3 is writing a business funding letter. So on Monday, Tuesday, I recommend you finish and complete task 1. So for this, you're going to be conducting a food preference survey. You're going to be using your knowledge of Google Forms and what we learned in the activity that we did right before the winter break. So you're going to do some firsthand research, and you're going to be surveying students and report their food preferences. So your Google form has to include 10 different questions. It should be based on a certain type of cuisine, or it can be based on a certain type of cuisine or a kind of food, depending on the preference of restaurant that you would like to run and operate. You do need to get at least 20 responses. So again, do what you did for the activity before the winter break. You can reach out to classmates in your homeschool. You can reach out to your community. Depends how you would go about that. And then you're going to prepare a Google Sheet to show your results. Of course, the Google Sheet is also included in the actual Google form. So you're going to go through that information in that spreadsheet, and you're going to be able to look at the results. And from that, you're going to graph the responses from one of the analysis questions. So the analysis questions are located in this extra resource document that I shared with you. So when you go into this, this is going to provide you with extra things that you need to include in your analysis. So for task 1, what you need to analyze and answer are the following. What foods do people like the most based on your survey responses? What foods do people like the least? What type of restaurant should you open based on this information? What would you call your restaurant? And what are the main menu items? Okay, so there's an exemplar survey provided in here for you, so you can get a general feel and understanding of what type of survey questions you can ask and what type of graphs you can also create based on the results that you find. Okay, so that is task 1. Now I should add that all of your information for the first week needs to be compiled in a Google document. This Google document does need to be shared with me on day 1. Okay, so and make sure that you give me editing access for that, as I will be going through during the week. I'll be checking in and just seeing how you are progressing. So for task 1, you're going to be including the link to the survey, the link to the spreadsheet of results, and then obviously all of your answers to those questions and the graph that you create. Okay, so that is task 1. Then you move on to task 2. Your task 2 will also be included and embedded in your Google document. You're going to, for task 2, create a brand for your restaurant based on the survey results and what you decide you want your restaurant to be. You're going to create a brand. You're going to create a name, include a color scheme, a company logo, and a slogan. Okay, and make sure that you are consistently including all those materials on all of your items moving forward. So for example, if you create a letter, somewhere within the letterhead should be the logo and the name of your business, as well as the slogan. Okay, so using Canva, Google Drawings, Photoshop, etc., whichever you would prefer, create a 1 or 2 page menu with prices. Once you've created your company name, your color scheme, your logo, and your slogan, and you include that in your Google document, you're going to create a 1 or 2 page menu with all the prices and the main courses, sides, desserts, and drinks of your menu based on, what the survey responses are and the type of restaurant that you're running. And then ensure that your menu is also consistent with your branding, that it includes all those brand elements that we mentioned above. Okay, so I recommend that you do this on Wednesday and Thursday. You're going to include your feedback on your company name, color scheme, company logo, and company slogan, and you will design a logo, and you're going to embed that in the Google document, and then you will also do the same for your menu. So everything gets put into that Google document, every single thing, okay? And then on Friday, I recommend you write the task 3, which is writing a business funding letter. You're going to do this in your Google document as well that you've been compiling. Okay, so you're going to write a compelling letter to convince potential investors, highlighting why you need funding and why your restaurant will be successful. This letter should be 1 page only. It should be business letter format, similar to what we did with our business complaint letter. There should be an introduction, a closing, a signature, and 3 paragraphs. Ensure that you include all of your branding elements in your letterhead. Again, you can create your own letterhead in Google Docs as well, or you can use Canva and just copy it into your Google Doc. And then I've also provided some funding letter tips here, just to give you in the extra resource document, right? So if you go to task 3, here are some really great tips as to things that you could discuss in your 3 paragraphs of your letter. Okay? So that is, and there are exemplars here for you too, just to give you an idea of what things could look like and sort of the flow of what it could be. So that is week one of your restaurant business. So remember, all of these elements have to be included in a Google document. Sorry, this should be Friday at 11:59 p.m. So I'll change that right now. And so, like, that's a question that I will typically get as well. Like, how do I complete it all in a Google document? It's not hard. Okay. Task one is going to be the Google Sheets, right? So, sorry, the Google form and the spreadsheet, as well as the answers to those questions and the graphs. Task two, which could be on page two of your Google document, is all of the branding elements as well as your menu. And then you can within the same Google document, you can on the like a separate page include your funding letter there as well. Okay. So it's all in a Google document. This document should be shared with me on day one. I need to have editing privileges. And if I don't see it come into me early this week, Monday, Tuesday by latest, I will be contacting home. I need to be able to see triangulation of assessment to make sure that you are using your 75-minute allocated period each day in your school to work on this performance task. You do have 5 75-minute periods allocated to just this for this week. So that's over 6 hours of in-class time allocated for this. So you should be using your time really well in school and getting it done on school time. Okay. So when you are done, you're going to copy the link of your Google Doc and you're going to submit it in that Dropbox here no later than 11:59 p.m. this Friday. Okay, that's when Dropboxes close. Because it is a performance task, it's treated like an examination, so you do have to honor those deadlines. Okay, and that's everything from week one. Like I said, if you look at the weekly agenda, um, you have all of the elements for week two as well, but you do not need to start week two this week. You can wait until next Monday and get week two done next week. And that is personally what I would do. And I would just put everything that I could into my week one elements. Week two we'll deal with next week. Just so you can see sort of how the course will operate for the rest of the semester. We only have a few weeks together now. You've got week one up until Friday. Week two of the performance task is next week. And then we have our final examination during week 19 or the last week of the class. I will explain week two in the instructional video next weekend, and I will explain the final examination in the instructional video the weekend after. Okay? And that's it. If you have any questions and you'd like to pop into a Google Meet, send me an email. I'm happy to answer any questions as you go through these final examinations and final evaluation tasks. Otherwise, good luck on your restaurant project. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you online.